everyone, ItzzDivinity here, and today with a new video again of my series called Mage Approach 2. This time around we're going to be looking at a Halls of Atonement 20 that I did this week. This was with a full book group, so I myself had no clue really what we were going to do. We did talk a little bit about what the route was going to be, but it's quite the normal route where you just pull everything at the beginning, Bloodlust, and you just do everything normally. One thing I must say, we do have a vent here in our group, so that's a big bonus point, right? So before we go into the video, this is the talent and the conduit setup that I'm running. I'm actually running Corian at the moment. I'm just testing the guy out. I want to see how good he is as well. And I'm also using Discipline of the Grove, since I didn't switch because conduit energy. That's a big minus point for me. But yeah, without further ado, let's head into the video and see how it's going to go. So remember, this is a full perk group, so I also didn't really know what to expect. He also just asked me at the beginning if I could combust some Pridefuls here and there, because they're gonna hurt a lot at some points. And yeah, I was like, sure, why not, right? I'll be that guy that suffers a little bit of DPS for that, so why not? So first of all, we're always gonna pull everything at the beginning here, and after that we use Bloodlust. I should use my mirror images. Yeah, I use my mirror images, right? So in case I get aggro, they take it over for me, so I don't get hit by that. So I'm making sure to not get hit by the storming, and then shifting power, right, to really utilize all of the damage that I can do during my AoE. Very important with this week, right? I forgot to mention that it's storming. It is inspiring, yeah, and fortified, right? So you really want to make sure that you don't get knocked up during your shifting power by those stormings. It's really annoying, and you will probably see me actually getting knocked up by one of them later into the video as well. I'm not sure, can't really remember it correctly. So a big thing about this dungeon, right? There is an ability that we're able to decurse if it goes through, right? So that's definitely something you need to keep an eye out. And I'm using the add-on Decursive for that. So I get like a sound notification the moment, yeah, something that I can use my decurse on. If it's there, right? So I can actually use that add-on. So we're just hard spamming flame strikes, and this is where the tank died, so we instantly frost nova'd everything that was coming towards us. So no one else was gonna get, yeah, slapped basically. I'm kind of holding too much on my flame. Yeah, fire blast here. Like as you can see, I'm holding them constantly. But that's probably also because I was really focusing on not dying, I guess. And now we got hit by storming. And yeah, this entire combustion is kind of a waste. Now that I'm looking back at it, like I was totally not prepared. I totally butchered this entire combustion. I tried to decurse during my combustion as well. I tried to do multiple things during that combustion, and because of that, I totally screwed up that combustion actually. Right here, I should also actually use my Rune of Power, since why not? I should really just use my Rune of Power here. And I noticed myself already that so far in this dungeon, I haven't really focused a lot on interrupting. And there's actually quite a lot of abilities that you do want to interrupt in this dungeon. So when it's actually teaming, right? Almost every single Houndmaster has, not teaming. I mean, I keep saying teaming instead of inspiring. So what I mean, every single Houndmaster in this dungeon usually has inspiring on them. So you're still able to Dragon Breath them or whatsoever to make sure that they get interrupted for the big buff on the dog. I forgot how it's called. So after this, we're gonna have a Prideful, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna take the Stoneborn to just kill this guy quickly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this time we're not gonna use anything for this. Like we're just gonna use Rune of Power and here and there. I also still need to buff one more person, since you see there's 4 out of 5 at the moment. But as you can see, because of this loyal Stoneborn, this Prideful is just getting absolutely murdered. Since it's the very first Pride, right, with a perk, I'm usually not sure, okay, what do people do when they get the debuff, right? So I always try to look and see what they're doing. Then the druid just said like, yo, just stand still if you get the debuff, so everyone is on the same page. So something really cool that you can do on this guy, on the shard, whenever he's doing the smash, you can actually outrange it. But right now I'm going to be using Combustion, right? So I'm kind of standing close with my altar time, which I used to early. And now I'm using Shifting Power during my altar time, so half of my Shifting Power is actually cancelled. That's really big mistake. And I also actually didn't use my trinkets here, which is also really bad. So I lost a lot of DPS during this combustion that I could have done way more damage if I just did it correctly. I should have used altar time later. I should have noticed when my altar time was going to end. I even have a weaker for it to track, but I still forgot to check it. So half of my altar time was cancelled. And I didn't use my trinkets. And right here, I was also casting a little bit too much fireballs. But as you can see, like, you just need to make sure whenever the smash is coming, just stand as far away as you can, as a ranged, and you will not be able to get hit by this trash. And why I am standing all the way over here, like, I'm trying to get to max range, and as you can see, you're currently not getting hit by the smash. And that's really helpful for your healer, and they will really appreciate it if you do stand max range, since it is going to be a really big pain for the healer if you don't do that, since especially on fortified weeks, on higher keys, it's going to hurt a lot. It's going to hurt a lot. So right now we're just scorching in order to get those flame strikes going, and at the same time we're just guiding backwards. And right now I'm just switching quickly to overall damage. And as you can see, people are blasting. I was like, holy shit, they're doing so much damage. And I was actually really, really happy about that. So we're gonna go into this one without without a pride buff. I usually have a pride buff for this one, so that's why I'm confused. And as you can see, I'm instantly using my altar time again when we pull it. But as you can see, I'm doing the same mistake again. I used my Shifting Power again the moment altar time was about to finish. So I again wasted a lot of damage because I cancelled my Shifting Power again. And this is definitely something I really need to learn in this dungeon, because I haven't done this dungeon that much, actually. Like, it's one of the dungeons that I am pretty low on the amount of times that I did it. And I really need to focus more on not instantly using altar time, because if I just wait a couple of seconds with my altar time, I'm going to be able to use that Shifting Power and then get back full during the smash, like during the trash, right? So that's definitely on me. That is something I really need to learn more. And because of that, right, like, I'm butchering a lot of my combustions this dungeon so far as well already. So yeah, but yeah, right now you just move out of these shit on the ground, right? You just don't want to get hit by it. So we're gonna have a prideful, but we have no cooldowns, right? So I already remembered at the beginning, yeah, they asked if I could use a combustion on a couple of rifles. I'm like, yeah, sure, dude. So what we're gonna do, right, we're just gonna use a combustion on this one, making sure that we don't die. Since we do have a balance druid and a marksman hunter, we're actually running pretty much meta DPS comp at the moment. So I like, yeah, sure, why the hell not, right? I'm just gonna make sure this prideful dies, and those two other DPS are gonna deal with the next pack, right? I was like, sure, that's totally fine. Since a lot of the times people usually hold their cooldowns for prides, but at some points, the higher you go, they're really gonna hurt a lot, so they need to die at a certain point. So right now we're probably gonna jump down, and this is where then the other two DPS are really gonna pop off. So I'm just making sure to jump down, right? Because then I can use some mirror images, just in case Tech was gonna die or something. I just wanted to make sure that the Houtmaster on the left, like here on the left, that it was not gonna get pulled because it was gonna walk up, right? So I just want to make sure that that didn't happen. So right now, as you can see, the Marksman Hunter is actually blasting together with the Druid. So on the next pack, I'm going to be able to have my combustion again for the shard, right? So so far it's actually going pretty well. I myself did actually already make quite a lot of mistakes that I really kind of screwed up about. So that's something I really need to improve on. So let's see if I'm gonna make the same mistake on this shard as well as the other two that I did. And the spells that I mentioned earlier that you can decurse is it's called, where we go, on back. It's called Curse of Obliteration, I think. So just quickly going back a little bit. So it's Curse of Obliteration, I think. Yeah, Curse of Obliteration. But since we're running a shaman and a druid and a mage, we're having 3 people that can actually decurse. So these things should never actually go off. So right now I am learning, right? I use my altar time later, but I didn't use my shifting power now during my competition. So it did finish the mistake of actually not canceling out my shifting power because of altar time. But now I used it too late. And, oh yeah, right, because it's the Twitch fault, right? My boy, Mio. Let's go. So we just gotta wait. And yeah, perfect. So right now we're just chilling, killing this quickly, making sure that we don't stand in this, right? And soon it's going to be the trash again. So we need to make sure that we're, 38 to 40 yards. Because then you're not going to be able to get hit. And right now I'm just standing here. I don't know why I'm standing over here. I'm not paying any attention. And because of that, I almost died. And I actually put a lot of stress on the healer, which is pretty bad, actually. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I really play bad this dungeon compared to what I normally do. So yeah, I actually play really bad. Right now I'm still standing in the trash range as well, and now I'm just out of range, right? So this one actually takes quite a while, right? Since everyone used their cooldowns on the pack before, and I'm the one that used it on this one. And as you can see, combustion is up as well already. So it is taking quite a while to kill this one trash pack. So what we're gonna do now is go to the middle. And yeah, we're just gonna blast this down. And as you can see, you need to be careful of the Peltrolls, of the Houndmasters that are running around. And we are actually gonna use combustion here. And as you can see, we have a vent here, so the guy is just gonna take control of that. So it just dies even quicker. I'm actually amazed that he did that one. Because I was like, yo, maybe it would have been better to save it for the Prideful, since we're not gonna have any loyal otherwise because of that. So it went through again, but as I just mentioned, we have 3 people that can decurse, so those curses are always going to be dispelled no matter what. Usually if only one goes through, I usually wait a little bit, see if the healer does it. Otherwise usually the healer does it. If it doesn't, then if he doesn't, right, then I'll decurse. So right now we have no singular cooldown for this Prideful and like DPS cooldowns. So it is going to hurt quite a lot, so I'm using just altar time whenever I'm at high HP. I might have wanted to wait a little bit with that altar time, because as you can see, I'm not really gaining that much value out of it. And the healer is actually pumping so much healing in this one. It's ridiculous, like he's cycling his cooldowns really good. So yeah, I'm really happy on how this run is going so far. Besides that, the amount of mistakes that I did make with my combustion. And now we're getting low. So I was like, okay, I'm going to use a healing potion. And the hunter is also like, yo, I'm going to turtle, baby. So it's really good. And yeah, this Prideful was definitely very, very spicy. So the tank is pulling that Stoneborn, so the healer can take control over it again, right? But whenever we're doing the boss. So now we have Bloodlust again, and before you know it, this boss is dead, because we have a loyal Stoneborn, we have Bloodlust, we have Prideful, and this one's just going to be dead so quick. It's ridiculous. Like as you can see, this is on the +20, it's already at 60%. So at this point, I was finger crossing that this boss was not bugged out, so that we will not get one-shotted by anything in this fight. Because there is a bug on this boss, right, that whenever he does the Refractored Instant Light, that it goes too fast and it just deals damage everywhere and you're just gonna wipe. So at this point, I was really praying, no bug, please, please. And it didn't bug, so that was really good. And this boss isn't that difficult. Just stand in the circles, never stack on the tank, because if it is he smashes the tank on the location and it deals a lot. It deals damage a lot. So you just want to make sure that you don't get hit by that, and just don't stand in the circles, and you just move away from the lines that are appearing. So it's not that difficult, this boss. It's a pretty easy boss, as long as it doesn't bug out. So right now we're going to the next trash pack. We're just killing these 4 together. So I'm just going to be waiting a little bit, since I'm going to be using combustion here. So curse did get interrupted in the end, and this is why we're just going to use combustion. using shifting power again. I heard the tank saying move up, and I was like, oh yeah, right, there's a petrol, so we're moving up real quickly. And then he's saying me, but that wasn't me. It was the healer. Like I did move I did move quickly enough, and as you can see, Nia pulled something by accident, and getting hit by storming and everything. And I was just at this point, yeah, this is over. This pool is over. It's just better to focus and maybe kill one before we wipe. And yeah, basically that wasn't really gonna happen. And I also didn't decurse myself, so that was also kind of yikes. So what we should have just done, just insta die, so it's way quicker to reset, right? Like as you can see, we're kind of wasting quite some time now on yeah, on resetting basically. So it's kind of yikes. But healer did already release, so he's just gonna rest everyone, so it's quicker. Just quickly heating up again while we wait, since I was checking out what add-ons. Someone did ask, like, yo, what add-on are you using for the key timer on the right? And I was like, yo, it's Angry Keystone. So now Petrol's going back, and we all learned from our mistakes, and we all just went, okay, upstairs we go. We just made sure that we were going to be up. Now I did stand in front of the guy that's doing the frontal. I'm really lucky that I didn't die, because it's +20. That should have actually just killed me, not gonna lie. And right now, boom, shifting power into a storming. I saw that storming coming, and I still was like, yo bro, I'm gonna cast shifting power, I don't care. And it instantly cancelled, so I really wasted quite some DPS on that, because it happened during my combustion. And as you can see, I'm really making a lot of mistakes in this dungeon. It's getting scary, to be fair. So he's pulling the pack on the left, since there's a Stoneborn in there. And as you can see, if you don't have a Ventier in your party whenever you're doing this, right? Alright, if that cast go through, spell steal the buffs away, so you just get a damage reduction buff as well. But as you can see, right, if you don't have a Ventier in your party for Halls of Atonement, it's going to be so rough. Like almost every single pack that we have done so far, right? You're basically having a Stoneborn. Usually, whenever it's crucial, you have a Stoneborn that deals increased amount of damage. And especially on the third boss, you're going to really see how strong the Stoneborn is, because now I remember again, I don't want to say anything about it, but that was actually ridiculous. So as you saw, we were just hard casting Flame Strikes at the beginning of this pack, right? And then later on, we just switched towards Scorches to proc, since whenever something falls below 30%, right, you can just get it going. So just waiting for that petrol to get there, since it's inspiring in it. So we're not using combustion on this one, since these minions don't have a lot of HP. And I know we're going to kill a Stoneborn afterwards anyway, right? And that one has like a lot of HP, around 800k. And I was like, okay, and after that we have Prideful. So it's going to be good timing for me to use a combustion on the Stoneborn to make sure that we kill it in time. Yeah, 769, nice. So we just got to move up quickly so we can just yeah, blast this guy down, right? So be careful of this. The Stoneborn Slasher has a frontal, powerful swipe. That is a frontal, so you don't want to be in front of the minion, because if you do, you're gonna have a bad time. So just make sure that you're not in front of it. And yeah, we're just doing the normal rotation, right, for combustion with double fire blast at the beginning. And before you know it, it's already at 50%. And afterwards, we're gonna have a Prideful. So I kind of wonder how we're gonna deal with this Prideful, since we don't have combustion for it. So I wonder what we do have. Since I see I have literally nothing at the moment, right? No rune, no combustion, no trinket, nothing, right? And I really wonder how we're gonna deal with this Prideful. If someone else is gonna use their cooldowns. Since I do see that the Hunter have his cooldowns ready, and the Druid doesn't have cooldowns either. So this one might be just the healer carrying again. So we do have our rune now ready, so we're just gonna place it down. And as long as we're close enough to the rune, we still get the benefit, right? So you don't have to stand inside of the rune necessarily to get a buff. As long as you're standing close to it, you're getting it as well. I think it was around 5 yards away from the circle, or 8 even. So you can actually move quite far from the rune. to still get the buff. And I'm pretty sure no one is actually using their cooldown at the moment. No one is. So it's just the healer carrying us again on this Prideful. And yeah, that's really good. That's really good. There we go. So we're gonna have Prideful together with this boss. I like to wait a little bit with Combustion on this boss fight, like not instantly, but now, right? Since as Combustion is about to end, you are going to be able to blast down these ads. I think it might even be better. Now, that is just for padding damage. Like, now it's just going to be able to end. And as you can see, we're able to spread our ignite, our final ignite to all of these ads around, right? Like, what you can do if you don't have enough DPS in your party and you know it, you can hold a little bit of your Combustion. I should have just ice blocked this one or blinked earlier, but I should have just ice blocked that one. That's definitely a thing. And also a good thing to know if you're new to Mage. So I also learned this recently, right? Like in this expansion, obviously because it's a dungeon from this expansion. It's Curse of Stone. So you can actually decurse this as well. So since we're running triple decurse, we legit just have 3 people getting decursed in total. Like as you can see, there's only 2 people left with that cannot do anything right now, and there's just 3 people that are just chilling and doing DPS. So that's quite funny. But yeah, I really recommend you to get this add-on called Decurse because it's just so good. So right now we're just AoEing them down, so everything is dead. So whenever we get the curse again, that all of these mains are gonna die, right? That's our main priority at the moment. So I should use my rune. Should have used my rune already, so I can use it into my shifting power. Yeah, there we go. So now we're using shifting power, and we're back just casting Scourges, right? So we're just waiting. Yeah, not waiting. We're just DPSing basically until this boss falls over. But yeah, my main tip on this boss, really make sure to use your decurse, since what I usually like to do, actually, is if you only run 1 decurse, whenever the ads are getting killed by the circle, I decurse the healer, so we can heal everyone to full again. And if there's no ads that gets destroyed by the smash, then just decurse a DPS that has the most value out of it. So you can really maintain the best, not uptime, but you can make the best decisions, because if your healer dies, yeah, then it's just over, right? So you want to make sure that on the heavy hitting, you just use your decurse for the healer. So afterwards, this pack is really nasty, so you really want to kill this as quick as possible, since there's 2 Houndmasters and there's 3 dogs. One of the dogs has Inspiring, so we decided, okay, we're just going to CC that one, so we can still slow all the other Gargons and everything else. Since these Gargons, I don't know what it is, but they hurt so freaking much on the tank. It's so ridiculous, and it's a maze, right? Since a lot of things did get nerfed for tanks, but they didn't touch these Gargons whatsoever. And this is just 1 Gargon, and the tank just almost dies. Sure, he has triple stacks of the debuff, but even if, like, this is 1 dog, he needs to kite, right? He can't even tank it. Phase on. Like, Blizzard, come on! You change so many good things for tanks to nerf, and then you leave these ads be how they are, and that just hurts. I'm really amazed that they didn't get nerfed in this patch. Oh, not really patch, right? But in these in the notes on the hot fixes. So usually, what a lot of people like to do, right, is just pull and then get them back over here. So we are going to be using our Combustion here, since there is an Inspiring in there, and we just want to make sure that this trash bag dies quickly. Since the 3rd boss is just a joke, really nothing is happening on that boss fight. It's so easy. And I kind of did use my shifting power too late on this fight, on this particular trash bag, since I missed 2 seconds or 1 second of my Combustion for that. So as you can see, decursing, making sure that that doesn't go off right. And I do notice, like I said at the beginning as well, I notice that I don't interrupt that much at all. So that's something I really should do more, to interrupting. So what I mentioned before, right? This boss as a Ventir is ridiculous because you have 2 of those Stoneborns. So what you do, you just take control over one already, and the second one you can take over control later because they don't do any damage. They barely hit the tank at all. It's pretty free. So as you can see right now, right, like the healer is second DPS with 10k, and that's purely because of the Stoneborn. And at the moment, I'm really low as well. And we're not using Bloodlust since we want to save Bloodlust for the very last boss. And my camera angle is kind of fucked right now. I should have also used a potion right here. I could have used a potion as well. And again, we're not really paying that much attention to interrupts. So yeah, we are interrupting that one. But as you can see, the healer took over the second Stoneborn as well. And he's just basically doing the same amount of DPS as a DPS will do. Even more, like he's out DPSing me. That's why I didn't really want to mention it. But just look how ridiculously strong these Stoneborns are. Like, you're basically having a second DPS. Like, no, a 4 DPS on this boss fight. Purely because you can have 2 Stoneborns on this particular boss fight. And this boss fight barely does anything. So, I don't know. It's so weird, in my opinion. Like, Halls of Atonement is a fun dungeon, but the boss fights are so weird. They're way easier than any other dungeon, right? Like, in my opinion. Like, these bosses are really easy, except the final one that can be really tricky if it doesn't go correctly. But, like, yeah, like you see, right? 4k DPS. That's what the healer did with just those Stoneborns. So that's really good. So what I like to do here is just focus on one side first. So whenever you do, because if they die during the heal, they are spawning additional ads, right? So I usually wait until the very first sucky is over, and then afterwards I like to use my cooldowns in order to destroy this as fast as possible, so the amount of ads that spawn are as low as possible, right? If you know what I mean. Because as you can see, we're just focusing these souls, making sure that the guys that are low are actually dying before he's getting healed. As you can see, now they die from the healing and they spawn 6 ads. So this guy yikes. And I did proc my Cauterize here actually, because I'm just face tanking everything almost. So that's kind of bad. And at this point I was like, oh shit, are we actually still going to be able to time it, right? Since we did have a full wipe earlier this dungeon. And to be fair, if you don't have a Ventir on a higher key, it's going to be so rough to time this. It's going to be so rough because those Stoneborns just do so much damage in total. On particular trash bags that you just really want to die quickly, or on certain points that you're just like, yeah, just kill it now, right? So, yeah, we're just basically killing the Inquisitor first, and we're just cleaving. We're just cleaving these manifestations off. And as you can see, I am using Combustion, and I do like to get knocked up by those tornadoes. Like, I love it. It's like giving me King's Rest vibes again, right? So that's why I just like to get touched by that. But yeah, making sure, okay, there's no tornado in the nearby now, so we can use our shifting power so we don't get knocked up, right? And yeah, we're just yeah, I don't know, we're just we're just killing this guy, right? We're already moving a little bit towards the entrance, so the Prideful spawns better, right? It's gonna be on a better location. So just when everything is dead, there's barely anything. And here the warrior's already saying like, yo, don't be greedy on this boss, because the last boss is actually quite spicy with storming. Since, yeah, you get knocked up and then the line actually goes in and things will die. You will die. And the healer asked me if I could combustion this, and I was like, yeah, I can, but I have 10 seconds, right? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. Because he needs to use his healing cooldowns on the boss itself. Since it's going to be a lot of damage that he needs to heal through. And DPS is not going to be the issue on the last boss. So we're just using combustion on this Prideful to make sure that it dies quickly. And that's actually quite kind of fun, right? Like when you're normally doing this with just a pre-made party all the time, you usually always do the same, and you don't really try different things out. If it works, like if it isn't broken, why fix it? So right here, find a boss. We're just gonna blast. We're gonna use tie warp, right? Gonna use it, making sure that we don't get hit by that pillar. Good thing I moved a little bit late, but good thing we moved. And this boss is actually really annoying with storming, since these tornadoes are gonna spawn, and you do want to make sure that you still be in line to make sure that you don't get any ticks off, but you still need to dodge these tornadoes. So what you want to do, right, is instead of dodging left and right, you want to move front and back, right? You want to make sure that you just don't get knocked up, basically. And right here, we're just blasting it quickly, and there we go. The hunter, as you can see, actually, the hunter moved to the right too early here, right? Because he was like, oh shit, a storming is spawning, I need to dodge it. But as you can see, he moved too far. The boss is still getting one more tick in, and boom, we're dead. And that's why this boss is really scary with storming. You really need to make sure that you keep the line happening. Good thing we legit have every single battle rest that we can for this entire dungeon. I just waited with this rest until the hit came back, right? So right now we're getting knocked up, and we just need to make sure that we don't get knocked up again. I moved too far here. No, I actually used Ice Block because I was like, shit, I cannot dodge this tornado. And now we just died because the healer also died. So I should have just used a healing potion. Like I mentioned, we legit had every single battle rest ready for this boss fight. And I think if we didn't have that, this key would have been goner. But the moment this boss does that ability twice, like at 70% and 40%, afterwards, nothing is really going to happen. Just dodge the frontal, dodge the pillars, dodge the circle around him whenever he's casting that, and that's it, basically. So just looking, okay, there's the pillar, we're safe, we don't have to move, so that's all going good. So we are just on a safe spot. And he's using the Torment. This is the circle I'm talking about, just dodge it. And we're actually, if we didn't have the vent here, right, if we didn't have the vent here, we would have not timed this key. Sure, you can say we didn't play correct at all. True. I myself could have played a lot better as well. But still, the amount of damage that you do gain in this dungeon with the vent here is just insane. It's ridiculous. You're going to save so much time, since the third boss will fall over so much faster, and you just have Stoneborn for really crucial points, and it's going to be really good. So, what did we actually learn from this run? I myself really need to pay more attention myself, especially during those shards, right? That I don't use altar time too early, because then I'm getting back, like then it's getting used too early again as well, so I don't really gain a whole lot out of it. And I also need to be more looking into it whenever I'm using shifting power during my altar time, because I actually had it cancelled twice during on me now during this run. When I was combusting, I just lose a lot of damage because of it. Also, interrupts, definitely a thing that I can do more in this dungeon as well. Thing that we did do right, like we really paid attention to the moment something goes through and it can be decursed. We are paying attention to actually, okay, can we decurse this or not? So that's really good. So those are really the major things that I need to look out for more. This was actually also my very first 20 in time, so I was really happy actually about that. That was pretty cool. I think, in my opinion, right? Like I was just a perk, and I was like, one more run before I was going to end the stream. So I was like, sure. If we can get into this one, we just go, right? Yeah, we did get in, and we actually managed to time it. So that was really amazing. But yeah, that's basically this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, then please leave a like and subscribe. It will really help me out a lot. And like I mentioned, right, this was on my stream as well. I streamed this run. So you can catch me on ItzzDivinity, twitch.tv/ItzzDivinity. That's usually where I stream my progress, like Mythic Plus as well. So yeah, feel free to hang out there as well. Anyway, I really want to thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye-bye.